This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
You're listening to Dr. Emma and me on the Tudors, Dynasty, and Beyond podcast. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Rebecca Larson, and it's Thursday, and you're probably expecting another Parallel Lives for Dr. Emma and me, but we're not doing it today, are we, Emma?
Not today.
I know the last episode that we did with Dr. Ellie Woodacre at the end, I said, see you next week for another Parallel Lives. And I hate to say it, but I lied to you. I lied to everybody.
Oh, Rebecca. People are going to be devastated. Unless they listen to the rest of the episode. And then they'll be pretty happy about what we're going to talk about, I think.
I think so, too. So you brought this up a few episodes ago. I don't remember how many, but you brought up doing a historical Tinder. And as usual, I was on the fence about it.
I'm not sure about that.
I have a problem. I really do. Like, I feel like if it's not my idea, I have to sit with it for a bit and make sure it feels right.
All I have is ideas. Do I ever make them happen? Occasionally. If somebody like Rebecca helps me.
Right. Well, we're doing historical Tinder today, and the more we talked about it, I just thought, yeah, this is a great idea. And some of the feedback from listeners that we got who had heard that we were considering it, they seemed excited. So we're going to try it. We're going to do a historical Tinder today. We're going to see what kind of feedback we get. And who knows, maybe we'll do a whole bunch more.
Yes. I must confess, I've never used Tinder myself.
Me either. I've used one dating app since my divorce, and it was just a mess.
But I've heard enough horror stories to know we can relate it to the 16th century for sure.
We sure can. You know, you guys, you're listening now, and you probably think these ladies know what they're talking about, right? But before we hit record, neither of us had ever been on Tinder. We didn't know how to use it.
Yeah, we Googled how to use Tinder. And then I can't believe it's so complex, though, because you need to know left from right. And
yeah.
Not my strong suit, I'm afraid.
I get confused when people say swipe left or right. It seems obvious, but my brain does not register that it really means moving in that direction. I don't know why.
I know. I have to remember that I eat with my left hand.
There you go.
And then I'm like, oh, this is the hand that I eat with. And then, okay, this is a therapy session now, not historical Tinder. Let's get to historical Tinder.
You know, there are other people who feel like us, so it's okay. It is like therapy. Okay. We're telling them it's okay. We're like that too. It's all good. But now we know historical Tinder, swipe. Okay, am I going to remember now? Swipe right for interested, left for pass. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. Pass. I don't know how we're going to incorporate that into this conversation today, but we might not.
Oh, don't worry. I have plenty of ideas.
Okay. So we kind of talked briefly about the two people that we wanted to do the first episode on. Do you want to tell everybody in case they weren't paying attention?
Yes. So because we've talked many times about how women were so royal women that we talk a lot about. First and foremost, Catherine of Aragon.
Yes.
Everybody, take a sip.
Oh, no. We're not doing this again.
Oh, it's not that game. It's a different game. It's Tinder. Sorry.
Yes.
So because we said many times that the royal women were the ones really behind the scenes with the marriage negotiations in many occasions, and Catherine was very, very active in this, just like her mother Isabel. So she brought this from Spain. I thought it would be good because not all these marriage projects come to conclusion, and then they kind of like women's stories, they kind of fade away. Yeah. But I wanted to bring it up because, I mean, there's no one who had more people paired with him than Charles V, who we're going to talk about. Emperor Charles V, born in
the toilet
in Ghent in the year
1500.
Remember? Nice. Very good. Very good. I can't wait for someone to post a picture of that toilet for us one day. If
Yeah,
you ever go to Ghent and you find the toilet, please send us a picture.
yes.
Charles V was born. And Charles ended up marrying Elizabeth of Portugal in 1526, but he had many candidates. So that's what we're going to talk about. One of those candidates.
Yes.
He was betrothed to two Mary Tudors.
Yes, he was. That part's crazy to me.
What a dog.
And he didn't end up marrying either of them.
And he was the ugliest man in Europe.
He had that chin, huh?
Well, I think in the 16th century, it was if you were royalty, people, I think just like now, looked at you a bit differently, right?
Yeah.
So even though he had that chin, I mean, in his marriage with Elizabeth, he was happy, and apparently she was happy too. I think Charles was someone a bit calmer than other kings, a bit more respectful of women, and that would go a long way when you're up against the two, Henry VIII and Francis, who we've talked about.
Oh,
yeah, the king of Tinder, probably Francis.
Yeah, no doubt. He was like swiping right on everybody.
Oh yeah, he was like, another Boleyn, sure, go ahead.
Oh no! You're gonna get us in trouble again.
Oh, I know. That's why I do it.
I wonder if it has Charles V's behavior toward women. I wonder if that has something to do with his mother.
With Juana?
Yeah, like maybe did he just
I don't think it had to do so much with his mom because he didn't spend too much time with his mom, I'm afraid. It was the toilet, and after that, it was. after that,
it was flushed.
No, the problem was that because he was born in 1500 and Juana becomes the heiress and is going to be the next queen of Castile, and Philip, the handsome Philip of Habsburg, crybaby, wanted to go to Castile and exercise their powers, and they went. Charles was left in Ghent and grew up in Ghent and other places like Malines with his aunt Margaret of Austria.
Oh, yes.
And we've talked about Margaret. So it was basically Catherine and Margaret were the biggest Tinder ladies in the in the north of Europe.
They were responsible for getting people signed up for Tinder.
Exactly. They were behind them, like, I wouldn't swipe left. I would try right. I know you don't like her now, but she comes from a good family.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Charles V is one, and then you mentioned that he was, engaged to two Mary Tudors. So which one are we?
The first one he swiped, right?
Yeah.
So Charles was betrothed to Mary Rose Tudor. We call her Mary Rose. She's the daughter of Henry VII. Oh, I can't believe I said that right.
I'm proud of you.
Sister of Henry VIII.
Yes.
I'm believed to be one of the prettiest women in England. So Charles was like, score, right? But really, he was only 8 when they were betrothed. And they were betrothed because Catherine, Ambassadress Catherine, as Princess of Wales, because this is 1508, is negotiating this marriage with Henry VII. And there's a big party in London, as you do when people get betrothed. There's even a publication on it of the big party that was done in London when Charles, the future Charles V, because at this time he's not emperor, right? He's only 8 years old. He's not living that far away because he's with his aunt in Malines, being raised with his sisters. And going back to your question, I think Charles had that because he was raised with his sisters and he was with his sisters. Mm-hmm. Unlike Henry, who was or Arthur, who was sometimes separated from the girls, right?
Yeah.
So I think, yes, growing up with women, definitely, women your age, especially, makes you have a different sensitivity. And also because the women in the Spanish monarchy were receiving an education, I think it made the boys feel like they were more in tune with them, It's not the same to talk to someone who doesn't know how to read or doesn't know what you're studying than someone that is a better student than you, because usually when the women were educated, they ended up being, I think it was just not that they were more studious, but maybe their lives were more in tune with that. They were already praying more and all those things. So that could have been it. But definitely Charles, at 8 years old, was betrothed to Mary Tudor, the daughter of Henry VII.
And she was what? Was she born in 1498? Was she a little bit older than Charles then?
Oh, I looked at yesterday. Let me
I think that's
that we're
right.
going to say that.
I think Henry VIII was born in 1496 and she...
No, 96. 96. So she was 4 years older than him.
Oh.
Yes. But remember this. Girls were... the church said that girls could be married at 12. Boys had to be 14. So technically, even though they were 4 years apart, they were only 2 years apart because, it would be the opposite way. See, this is why I'm not an engineer.
I'm not into math.
No, it's just the closing age. The closing age. Yeah. And above all, it's Catherine wanting to bring close the court of Margaret of Austria and her family. And she knows Charles is going to be the next king of Spain. They can safely assume that he might be the next emperor too.
Okay.
Because Juana is in Tordesillas. She's away. So she's the queen of Castile, but she's not exercising her power.
Right.
Fernando of Aragon is in Aragon. He dies in 1516. Right? So he's going to inherit that too if he doesn't have a child, which he ends up not having with his second wife, Germana de Foix. So they know he's going to be the most powerful monarch in some time as he becomes, right? So that's why Henry VII is like, yeah. Let's make this match.
Right. Yeah, because he had already made the match with Catherine and his son Arthur, so he already understood the importance of a connection with Spain and Aragon.
Yes, and think about this too. That same year that Charles is swiping Mary Rose because they're betrothed, Catherine asks her own secretary to translate a chronicle of the kings of England from English into Spanish, finishing it in her own coronation with Henry VIII.
Interesting.
She's killing off Henry VII before he's dead.
She was ready for the future at that point, wasn't she?
She's like, you are marrying this guy, and then you are almost dead, so you write about me being queen, and then I'll be fine. And you, Henry, you cute. Shut up.
And don't even think about growing a beard.
Exactly. You young, attractive giant. So yes, that's the year 1508. Think about the fact that Henry VII is sick.
Yeah,
for a lot of time. So with this match is also a preparation for what's coming next, and the alliances that Catherine wants to establish for Henry and herself.
Yeah, right? Which makes sense.
But then you pick up any Tudor book, and it's all Henry.
Yeah,
it's all Henry. Or then it's Thomas Boleyn, who was the mastermind between the Margaret of Austria relationship in the early reign of Henry VIII. It's not true. You're working for Catherine. Come on.
That's right.
Margaret and Catherine were the ones obsessed with marrying Charles to someone from the Tudors.
I like it.
Because then they betrothed him to who? To Mary Tudor, Princess Mary Tudor, future Mary I.
Yes.
Yes.
Another Mary.
Another swipe. He's like, oh, these English girls, I love them. They're all named Mary for a reason. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This
one's my cousin. I like it even better.
I'm just fascinated by this pairing of Mary Rose Tudor. That's just what we're going to call her, so that you know the difference between who we're talking about and future Charles V. And the what if, what if this had actually how long were they actually betrothed before it was called off?
Great question. I prepared for this.
Oh, good.
And I know because of this, And I was saying about Thomas Boleyn and all of this because I've studied these diplomatic relationships from the time that Henry VII dies until Mary Rose is married to who? Louis XII of France.
Yeah.
Right? A guy who has like 5 minutes to live.
I was going to say he's like 100 years old.
Paris. I think they've already got the tomb ready.
He's got one foot on a banana peel. The other one's getting close.
Why? But why? But why does he marry? But why does Henry VIII marry Mary Rose Tudor to Louis XII?
Probably because he was upset with Spain about something.
Exactly. It's one of his fits, right? It's one of his fits. So when Henry's starting one of his fits, and this is the 1514, so imagine from 1508 to 6 years they were betrothed. Key years too, Catherine being regent and all those things. And Charles growing up, obviously, becoming more of a teenager, more in tune with what Mary was, right? If she was 4 years older, right? But in 1514, we have, thanks to the ambassadors, I love the ambassadors, you know me and the ambassadors.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Venetian ambassador, we know that was it the Venetian ambassador? I'll have to look up he was Italian for sure, but I'm not sure quite now if he was from Venice. He said, no, actually, I'm mistaken. It's Margaret of Austria's ambassador from the court of Margaret of Austria sends a letter back to Margaret saying, I'm here. The painter arrived and he painted Mary Rose and she looked stunning. She carries a portrait of him everywhere, of Charles.
Yep.
And he says, il est très mal conservé, where he's very badly depicted. This survives in the Royal Collection Trust and is Charles in all his glory with his chin, attributed to an unnamed Netherlandish artist. And that was a picture that Mary would carry around. This is 1514. Why was that a portrait painter sent? Because Margaret and Catherine wanted to save the marriage.
Oh, okay.
To force Henry VIII's hand, they send a portrait painter, and they say as Princess of Castile, because that's a title she has, because that's the title Charles has. And I believe that survives. That is the painting that is in the National Gallery in London, where the very beautiful woman is wearing one of the necklaces that belonged to Isabel of Castile.
Yes.
Why? Because Mary Rose, her dowry was put together by Catherine with what? The jewels she had brought from Spain, because she was giving jewels to the Princess of Castile. So she's wearing a necklace representing Castile, right?
Oh, this, when you talk about this painting, this like settles the dispute that I've always heard for all the years, that there's no way that could be Mary because of that chain that she's wearing.
Well, people need to just Google Mary Rose and see who she was betrothed to from 1508 to 1514, and just, I think put two and two together, but never mind.
I think the fact that you said it was something that Catherine could have given her from what she brought over, that makes it.
No, it is, because that necklace is mentioned in the will of Isabel of Castile for the Princess of Wales.
Oh, there you go.
And it's described with the sheaves of arrows and everything.
Okay. So that is for sure Mary.
Yeah. And she also left her 2 scepters with crystal balls. I was like, whoa, I would like to see those, right?
Yeah.
And a crown with eagles.
Ooh.
Yes. Isn't that great?
That is great.
So, yes. So, and the other thing, very important thing to know about this picture is the person is depicted, well, it said as Mary Magdalene, because she's carrying, right, a perfume bottle, and that's associated with Mary Magdalene. But if you go and read the literature behind it, that's not what originally was there. Originally, she was holding a book. Who else is holding a book in her picture? Very famous picture that is in the Royal Collection Trust. Isabel of Castile.
Okay.
Wearing the same cloth of gold, just in a fashion that is obviously
older,
30 years, 20 years prior, right?
Yeah.
So they were both depicted holding books, and Mary Rose was wearing this necklace that had belonged to Isabel because she was going to be the next Queen of Spain by marriage, obviously, but still the next Queen of Spain. So Mary Rose Tudor could have been Queen of Spain and Holy Roman Empress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Instead, she became Queen of France.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But then she married Henry Cavill, so we can't blame her for taking advantage of the situation, right?
I feel like you're going to call me out on Henry Cavill now.
Oh, no, you call it yourself, girl. For all that I was talking about Henry Cavill, when we text at night, I'm like, oh, what are you doing, Rebecca? She's like, oh, just watching this Henry Cavill movie every night, guys. I'm slightly concerned.
It was just by chance I found something.
It's just research. It's just research male anatomy. That's all I'm doing.
I mean, last night I was watching The Immortals, where he has his shirt off pretty much.
You're watching him again last night? I knew it.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I like Henry Cavill too. And I was
well, we're not going to share, girl. It's not gonna happen.
Well, I'm single. You're not. He's all mine.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'll just have to don't invite me over to do anything. Anyway, important thing about the Charles picture, and we talked about this before. Remember that we talked that he's holding something in his hand?
Oh, I forgot. What is he holding?
He's holding a little branch of rosemary.
Oh, okay. Yep. Now I remember.
So Rosemary is, and he's like, here's some rosemary, Mary. Well, Rosemary was associated with Aphrodite or Venus. Aphrodite for Greeks, Venus for the Romans, the goddess of love and sex.
Love.
So he was like, this Rosemary is for you. Next time is going to be me.
Oh my gosh.
And this is the picture that she would carry around everywhere.
And she knew that while looking at it.
Well, she was, we don't know a lot about Mary Rose Tudor's education, but we do know that she was very close to Catherine, and that Catherine was obsessed with education. So I'm sure she told her many things. And I'm sure when the picture arrived, she was like, you know what this means? Because then instead of Tinder worked a little bit different, right? First you hear about the guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't just look at a picture. Then they send you a picture, which is usually, like the ones in Tinder, I've heard, a bit airbrushed. Because then you meet the guy, you're like, what? You didn't have that hunch in your picture.
Right, exactly. Wait, in your picture you had teeth, and now you have none.
All your teeth. You had all your teeth. Right? So, yes, can you be more obvious than this?
Right.
Sending someone a picture of yourself with the symbol of love, sex, fertility, and all those things. Could he be any more obvious? And the fact that she was carrying it around everywhere, even though Charles is described as being, and you can see him in the picture, he's not, bystanders attractive. I think Catherine probably told her about the type of person he was, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And
the fun part is that Mary Rose gets to meet Charles later. Why?
Because
Charles is the only Holy Roman Emperor that visits England.
Yes. Yeah, that was in the 1520s, right? Or was it early?
1519, the first time, right? So he gets to meet his previous girlfriend and his future girlfriend.
Right. Weird.
Awkward.
At least he didn't have to worry about remembering their names.
Right. That I love in Charles' second visit to England. I love the description when he arrives. And I think I've talked about this in the podcast before. And, imagine he's already Holy Roman Emperor. So he succeeds Fernando of Aragon in 1516 because he dies. He never actually succeeds his mother because his mother is still queen, but since she's put away, they're both in the documents. So she's still queen. He's not King of Castile. He's King Castile by inheritance, not yet by lawful right on his own, right? But then he's elected Holy Roman Emperor. And when he's elected Holy Roman Emperor in 1519, Henry VIII is very disappointed because he thought he could be Holy Roman Emperor.
The ego on that guy. What a tool.
Oh, what a tool. Anyway, so when he's elected Holy Roman Emperor, Catherine of Aragon throws a big party in Havering for Henry VIII to tame probably his disappointment, right?
Yeah.
But really it's to celebrate that her nephew has been elected Holy Roman Emperor. She's like, who's the baddest? Can we say bad words in podcast?
Yeah.
Who's the baddest bitch around?
Right.
Anyway, so when Charles visits and he's already Holy Roman Emperor, he does something extremely symbolic, which is he arrives, everybody's greeting him, everybody's like, oh my goodness. It's like, when Taylor Swift goes to places, or Rosalia goes to places, everybody's like, ah! So he's like, yeah, everyone, fine. And then they get to Hampton Court. And he says, hi. And he says hi to Henry, right? And
right.
Take off their hats and this and that. And then his aunt is waiting up the stairs. Smart woman waiting up the stairs. He walks up the stairs. Yeah. And when he's in front of the whole court, on top of the stairs, in the middle of the top of the stairs, and he gets to his aunt, he bows to her and takes off his hat.
I love it.
And Catherine smiles and says, rise. And looks at Henry and goes,
yeah, you know who the real power is in this relationship.
Exactly. And then things didn't turn out very well for some reason, right?
Yeah, well, Henry wanted to wear the pants in the relationship, and Catherine clearly was the puppet master, and he didn't like it.
And the thing is, unlike with other wives he had, like the second one, Anne Boleyn, where she also wanted to be the puppet master, but in a very obvious way, and would confront people about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she had confrontations with Henry because he's like, shut up, woman. What are you talking? Why are you fun guy? It's fun. Why are you having fights with fun? Nobody's ever fought with fun guy. You're the first person to fight with fun guy. Catherine had a different way of being in charge. Ambassadors always describe it with a smile on her face. Very calm and control. So I think the problem was that she probably made a fool of Henry many times by just not doing much, just being like her calm, collected self and just letting them have a meltdown and then being like, don't worry, we'll get through this. I'll help you, whatever. Always being nice to him too. Never, ever, ever, except one time, a couple of times, being angry. The first time that we know she was really angry at him is when she found out about his first affair.
Mm-hmm. Are we talking about Bessie Blount?
Yeah. And she was like, what do you mean you have Tinder? I saw your Tinder last night in parchments. Keep swiping.
I
saw your profile. Right?
Oh my gosh.
And you know what Henry tells her?
Know your place, woman.
Like, he's like, don't you ever, do this again. She never does. She never does it again. The only other time that she loses her cool, let's say it, one bad word per program, please, is when the whole Anne Boleyn thing happens, obviously. And she is asked by Wolsey to sign a document, and she goes on saying, what do you want me to say? I was a harlot that's the word she uses, for 24 years. And she does have a couple meltdowns. But again, after that initial shock, she retreats and she goes back to being that steel iron woman that is just smiling and waiting for her time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that Tudors knew how to do this very well, because I know Mary Rose, for example, had a complex relationship with her brother, right?
Yes, she did. Yeah.
So she wasn't exactly like Catherine either. She was more like Anne Boleyn. I think it's the education in the English court was different, right? And because in Spain, Isabel of Castile was so restrictive and so duties first and so obsessed with that. I think, someone like Juana just ended up like not being able to cope with it. But someone like Catherine really thrived in it, because for her, it was just the way she was too. She
Yeah.
was just like her mother.
Okay, so let's look at Mary Rose and Charles as a couple had they been married and how different the future would have looked. Because, I mean, he wouldn't have had Philip II, right? So that would have changed so
Well,
much.
probably he would have had Philip II. It's just a different Philip II, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true. Good
Right.
point. Yeah.
So I think it would have been better because they wouldn't have had the inbreed problems later in later generations, right? Because
Yeah.
Mary Rose was a Tudor, not related to them distantly, but not in some points, but not like your first cousin, Isabel of. So even if he had married Mary Tudor, for you to marry the first, he would have had those problems eventually.
Yeah.
So it would have been a good thing for the Habsburg dynasty for sure.
Yeah.
The chin might have gone a bit back. I mean, she was described as being a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she was.
That picture of her is stunning. She does look stunning. And she did have a lot of the traits of the Habsburgs. Like she did have that reddish blonde hair color, just like yours, Rebecca. I'll say it every time.
Every time.
She did have she looked a lot like the Trastámaras, really, but
Yeah.
she had a different bloodline, so it would have helped. It would definitely have helped. I think it would have been very difficult for Henry to break with Rome.
Right. It really would have changed a lot of that and all the wars and different alliances that Henry tried to make over the years.
And I think maybe that's why Catherine wanted that marriage, because she knew Mary Rose was on her side, grew to know her and said, she's going to be my ally. And a very, very, very powerful woman. And she's going to be married to my nephew. So Henry's going to have to, I mean, I don't think she was predicting her own downfall. What I'm saying is she was trying to make sure that that alliance that she was representing was getting renewed and strengthened.
Yes.
So, and Mary Rose adored Catherine of Aragon. So I think it would have been good. It would have been good. Yeah. Probably would have had, I'm going to assume, a lot of children because of this not having a problem that they were related. It would have been very difficult for her, though. Extremely difficult because, first of all, I'm sure she spoke Spanish, and in 6 years, Catherine taught her Spanish. This assumption that people didn't learn the language before, that's not true. And she spoke French, so that's, but I think once she would be married to Charles, she would have had to go to Spain. And then, as we know from his real marriage to Isabel of Portugal, she was left as regent many times to deal with very extremely difficult situations. She was Portuguese, so she was from the Iberian Peninsula. She knew how this worked. She was from the same family. Don't think Mary Rose would have had a good time being regent in Spain with all the grandees being like,
Right.
So for her, it would have been extremely hard, I think. She was better off with Henry Cavill, for sure.
I was just thinking when we were talking about the potential, if she had married Charles V, and we have Henry VIII with Catherine of Aragon, and then in Scotland, there was his sister Margaret with James IV, this would have like isolated France, wouldn't it?
Yes, because Scotland was another one of the allies of France. The Empire was against France with this alliance. Yes. Bigger isolate. And that's why France are always appealing to Henry's big ego and playing with his little ego. And Francis is like, oh, your wife is horrible and decrepit and this and that. Yeah. Why? He's always poking because he knows he can't do anything unless that alliance is broken.
Yeah.
Think about the way they control all the Atlantic facade.
Yep.
That's huge. Think that Catherine's niece is even Queen of Denmark, because Isabel of Austria marries Elizabeth of Austria marries Christian II. So it would have been extremely different. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I want to go back to the fact that it would have been so difficult for Mary. So difficult.
I can imagine.
Charles V was the Spanish monarch that traveled the most. There was the least time and then in Spain it wouldn't be as accepted to have an English queen as a Portuguese queen that happens to be, the daughter of the daughter of Isabel of Castile.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, one other thing that I want to bring up. Have you heard the term butterfly effect before?
Yes.
Okay, so this is like I'm thinking, had she married Charles V, this would have put into effect a butterfly effect and changed history, right? Because we know, as you've said, she marries Henry Cavill, or as if you don't listen to the show, Charles Brandon.
Yes.
And
if you Henry Cavill and you listen to the show, Rebecca's single.
oh my God, okay, stop.
He's not single. Sorry, Henry Cavill's wife.
So anyway, if she hadn't married Charles Brandon, there never would have been a Lady Jane Grey. And so that would have changed the whole Mary the First coming to the throne after Edward the Sixth, right? Because would he
there be an Edward the Sixth?
Oh, see?
You just said there wouldn't be an Edward the Sixth.
Dang. Butterfly effect. I'm fascinated by the idea of a butterfly effect.
Yes. And listen to this. Even Charles marrying Isabel of Portugal, and that Charles threatened Henry with war several times when he wanted to marry Anne Boleyn. The more reason if his wife would have been, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the Anne Boleyn thing would have happened, but I don't think they would have been able to go on through with it.
Fascinating. I love this conversation. I think Anne
Boleyn would have been married to someone else, and then she would have just become the mistress, like, Diane de Poitiers for Francis, or, I think she would have, had an affair with Henry, but not, this wouldn't have ended up happening. I think Henry would have never wanted to happen, because I think he would have liked to have an alliance, a strong relationship with Charles. He was thrilled when Charles was there. It would have been funny to see Charles, because Charles was very, very short. So was Philip II, with Henry VIII, who was, a big dude. And by this time that they met, was probably starting to gain some weight. Would have been funny to see the two together, right? The little Catherine and Charles, almighty, and then the big, big dude. It's like, I'm the king here. And they're like, sure you are.
Right, you big old.
You're in charge of everything. You're in charge of everything. Sure.
Okay, so have we missed anything? Are there any other key points that you wanted to make sure? Oh, yes.
Yes. I want to point out Charles V was a very lucky man, because he didn't marry Mary Rose Tudor, but he married Elizabeth of Portugal, also described as one of the most beautiful women in Europe. So the dude was just, born to rule, I guess.
Yeah, because we have that. It's a posthumous painting of her, right? Where she is just gorgeous.
Yes. I mean, we know it's posthumous. We know her nose is retouched a little bit. He did do her nose job and things like that by Titian in the Prado Museum, hanging next to
Mary Tudor.
Mary the First of England.
Nice.
So, Charles would have been like, which one? Swipe left, swipe right, right?
Right.
And they're both next to Isabel I of Castile.
I love it.
Picture was in Henry VIII's collection, which means it belonged to Catherine of Aragon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. That picture is described in the 1542 Whitehall Palace inventory. Now it's reflected in the Brado's provenance, that it was there in 1542.
Which one?
So the picture,
Isabel?
the little yeah, Isabel with her book in cloth of gold. The one that is, the paired copies of Isabel, the paired portraits of Isabel and Fernando in the Royal Collection Trust.
Yep.
The earlier version of this in the Prado was bought from Christie's, but originally was it belonged to an aristocratic family in England. So when Charles I was beheaded, all his art collection was sold. So this family probably bought it then. That's why it was there then. And when it come, when they were selling it, the Prado Museum was interested in having an early picture of Isabel, but that picture belonged to Catherine of Aragon. So by the time Antonis More was, so what I'm saying is when that portrait painter went to paint Mary Rose Tudor in 1514, that picture was there probably. So he had a model to go off. And then when Antonis More went to paint Mary the First in 1554, she had the picture of her grandmother too. So it was probably the version for Mary was probably displayed with the picture of her grandmother too, right?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
It's very cool.
I like that. Wow, this has been
But, and listen to this, even though he married Elizabeth of Portugal, when, Charles V retires, right? He abdicates. And he was like, I want to die in Spain. I can't blame the guy. So he goes all the way to Spain, disembarks in Laredo, near where I'm from, and goes all the way to Yuste, to a monastery that's spectacular, to live his final years. Why? Philip and Mary are king and queen of not just England and Ireland, but now Spain, right?
Yeah.
What does Charles take with him? He takes a picture of Isabel, his wife, but he also takes a picture of Mary Tudor.
Oh.
The rascal.
Maybe he was secretly longing for his son's wife. That's creepy. I don't even know why I said that.
He had been betrothed to her.
I know. It's so weird.
And he knew her. He personally knew her. That's very different, when you've met someone in person and when you've not. I mean, he was a teenager and she was a girl, but they had met. And they had exchanges, and he had sent her a brooch saying the emperor, and she had been painted by Susanna Hornboot wearing that brooch. So there had been at least romantic feelings in the sense of courtly love of the time, right?
Yeah.
So I think, and the other fact is that when Charles goes to Yuste, she's the Queen of Spain. So he's taking a picture of the Queen of Spain, right?
Yeah.
And he's probably taking a picture of his son too. But I just think it's funny that he would take that with him.
I love it.
It's like, I want these girls with me, please.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cute.
My girls. They're my cousins, they're my lovers. I love them.
Cousin lovers.
Yeah.
It's like sister wives, but cousin lovers.
I know. You think Americans think they've invented everything.
Right. Yep. The Spaniards were the first to come up with
Habsburgs. Hey, the Habsburgs. Don't get the Spaniards mixed up in this. Okay? Habsburgs didn't come from Spain, okay?
Oh, yeah,
ruling Spain. Yeah. No, but it is very common in royalty. And let's go back to even like Egypt, where Cleopatra married her brother.
Yeah.
Right? I know. It's just a way to keep the bloodline in a time where they don't know about genetics,
Yeah. No idea what they were doing.
But they did know that and that was a very efficient strategy for the Habsburgs for a long time. Until they were like, the babies keep getting these weird faces.
They're growing extra fingers. I don't understand what's happening.
This guy can't even close his mouth.
Oh my gosh, Emma. Okay, so historical Tinder is a win for me. I had a lot of fun doing this episode. So
are you on the top of your head? Are you like, oh, now I want to do other matches?
Well, yeah, but of course, as always, I want listeners to give us some suggestions of ones to look at.
Listeners, what?
I mean, 2 people listen, and that's me and you.
Not you, me and you.
Maybe my mom. My mom might be listening.
Yeah, I sent it to my mom once. It's like, I don't want to listen to this.
That's what most people say to me. My friend, they don't get it. If you're not into history like we are, people think we're just weird that we're into this as much as we are.
Yeah, and we're not weird at all, right?
Please.
How could you think we're weird?
Okay, so
I thought of one. I'll just say it. What if, remember when Henry VII made when Henry VIII was a teenager, he's like, you're not going to marry Catherine anymore.
Yeah.
And they were thinking of marrying him to Margaret of Austria.
Yes. Ooh.
That's an interesting one. If Margaret of Austria would have become Queen of England.
Wow.
What would have happened to Catherine. Catherine, what level of she would have felt such betrayal because I was her best friend.
Yeah.
Right? This is just like real life, like nowadays, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, maybe that's for one. Yeah.
That's an interest. Well, speaking of real
Maybe she would have
life.
been like, I'm going to go and marry Francis the First. No, she would never. She would have become a nun.
Okay, well, you just did the whole episode, so now we don't have to do that
two
one.
episodes in. You see, I'm just the full pack, Rebecca.
You are. Well, before we go, I do want to talk about real life because if people are watching, they can see that you're in a different location. You need to show them your sweatshirt because that'll tell everybody.
Oh, my sweatshirt?
Yeah. Woo.
Can you guess where I am?
You're at Harvard.
Yes. No. I have been here for a week. I already got my sweatshirt because you have to get a sweatshirt when you go to Yale.
Yeah.
Right. At the Yale Center for British Art, studying their portraiture collection and many other things. I can't even sort of tell you what a week I've had.
Yeah.
And the wonderful people that work in the Yale Center for British Art, they've treated me tremendously well. I felt like I think they got the wrong person.
I love it.
At one point, the place is spectacular. Their collection is spectacular. Could be happier. I'm gonna be here for another 5 weeks.
Oh, right.
I'll let you know how it goes. But I've already seen some interesting stuff. For example, studying miniature portraiture. I'm not going to give that away. I'll tell you later on.
Yeah.
But I have found something very interesting in relation to Anne Boleyn in that sketch that is in the British Museum that I'm convinced is her. The Holbein sketch. It's Anne Boleyn, guys.
I love it. I love it. Well, we have lots of stuff that we have coming up on the show. As always, we have lots of things that we're planning. Emma's busy, but she's still finding time to do these episodes. So if you listen today, you have an idea for historical Tinder, or if you still have ideas for parallel lives, please send them our way. Otherwise, I guess I'll see you again next Thursday.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of Dr. Emma and Me. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and review the show. It really helps more people find it. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you'll know as soon as a new episode drops. And if you'd like to support what we're doing, head over to Patreon and become a patron. You'll get early access, bonus content, and more. Thanks again for being here. See you next time.